Before we begin, take a moment to breathe. If you find value in stories that blend human emotion with timeless wisdom, consider subscribing to the channel. Your presence here supports mindful content in a noisy world. Now let us enter the story. In the shimmering glow of a city skyline, Elena stood alone by the floor-to-ceiling windows of her upscale apartment, her fingers trembling as they traced the rim of a half-empty wine glass. Below, the streets pulsed with the restless energy of the night, but her chest tightened as she watched her husband, Mark, across the street at a rooftop bar. He was laughing with a colleague, a woman whose ease with him felt too intimate, too unguarded. His smile, warm, unguarded, the one Elena once thought was hers alone, stirred a pang she couldn't name. Jealousy, often mistaken for love, is not a proof of devotion but a shadow of attachment, a silent cry of the ego clinging to what it fears to lose. Tonight we unravel a tale of tangled hearts, where desire, betrayal, and raw human passion collide, and seek the Buddhist wisdom that can guide us from the ashes of jealousy to the clarity. Elena, 32, was a marketing executive whose ambition carved her name into the corporate world. With her sharp mind and sharper heels, she had built a life that gleamed like the city around her, polished, enviable, perfect. Her marriage to Mark, a 35-year-old architect whose charm could light up a room, was the cornerstone of that perfection. Friends admired their chemistry, their shared laughter at dinner parties, the way they seemed to complete each other. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming, invisible at first, like hairline fractures in glass. One quiet evening, as Mark showered, his phone buzzed on the marble kitchen counter. A message from Sarah, his ex-lover from years past, lit up the screen. Missed you at the gallery opening. Drink soon? XO. Elena's pulse quickened, her breath catching. She scrolled, her heart sinking with each flirty text, each winking emoji, each casual mention of remember when. Weeks of messages painted a picture of a connection Mark had never mentioned, a secret thread weaving him back to Sarah. Devastated, Elena turned to Lily, her best friend since their college days. Lily, also 32, sat across from her in their favorite coffee shop, her manicured nails tapping the table as she listened. He's slipping, Elle. You deserve better, she said, her voice thick with sympathy. But Lily's concern masked a darker truth. She envied Elena her corner office, her designer wardrobe, her seemingly perfect marriage. Worse, Lily harbored a quiet, burning crush on Mark, one she buried beneath years of friendship. Each time Elena confided in her, Lily's envy grew, and a part of her relished the chance to nudge their marriage toward ruin, to see Elena's perfect world crack. The tension simmered for weeks until it erupted at a company gala in a grand ballroom where crystal chandeliers cast a golden haze over the city's elite. Elena, in a sleek red dress that hugged her curves, felt every eye on her except Mark's. Across the room he danced with Sarah, who had arrived uninvited, her laughter bright and her touch too familiar. Mark's hand rested on Sarah's waist, lingering a moment too long. The music faded in Elena's ears, replaced by the thrum of her own heartbeat. Fueled by champagne and a rising tide of rage, she stormed across the dance floor. "What is this, Mark?" she demanded, her voice sharp enough to cut through the murmurs of the crowd. "Am I a joke to you?" The room froze, guests exchanging glances, their whispers like static. Sarah slipped away with a smirk, leaving Mark stammering, his face flushed with guilt and defiance. The gala marked a turning point. At work, Eleanor's focus crumbled. Her rival, Tom, a cunning colleague with a knack for spotting weakness, sensed her distraction. He undermined her meticulously prepared pitch for a promotion, stealing her ideas and presenting them as his own. The boardroom applauded him, while Eleanor's dreams of a corner office slipped further away. Humiliated and adrift, she sought solace in late-night drinks with Tom, whose flattery smooth, calculated felt like a lifeline. One reckless night in a haze of anger and desire, she crossed a line, sleeping with him in a hotel room that smelled of cheap cologne and regret. She had wanted to reclaim her power, to hurt Mark as he had hurt her. But the morning after, tangled in sheets, she felt only shame, a hollow ache where her pride had been. Lily, always hovering, learned of Elena's fling through office gossip. In a moment of spite, cloaked as concern, she betrayed her friend. "She's no saint, you know," Lily told Mark over coffee, her words laced with venom as she described Elena's night with Tom. Mark, already wrestling with his own guilt, erupted. Their apartment became a battlefield, words flying like shrapnel. "You're suffocating me, Elena," he shouted, his voice raw. "You're a liar," she screamed back, tears streaming. "You and Sarah, what was I supposed to do?" The truth spilled out. Mark's text with Sarah had been an emotional affair, a nostalgic escape from the pressures of marriage. Elena's betrayal with Tom was her own desperate grasp for control. Their love, once a beacon, now felt like a cage. Shattered, Elena fled the city, driving to a Buddhist retreat nestled in the mountains. The silence of the pines and the rhythm of chanting monks offered a stark contrast to the chaos she'd left behind. There, a monk with kind eyes and a gentle voice sat with her. "Jealousy is not love," he said. "It is the ego clinging to what it cannot hold: people, status, certainty." He introduced her to the Buddhist truths that would reshape her heart. Anicca, or impermanence, taught her that all things, love, pain, even betrayal, are transient, like ripples on a lake. Dukkha, the nature of suffering, showed her how her attachment to Mark's fidelity to her perfect life had birthed her pain. Anatta, the concept of non-self, revealed that her jealousy was the ego's cry for validation, not a measure of her love. The Buddha's words echoed in her mind, "You only lose what you cling to." Sitting cross-legged in meditation, Elena wept, seeing how her need to possess Mark, to control her world, had blinded her to her own strength. Over weeks at the retreat, Elena began to heal. The monk guided her through 3 practices to dismantle jealousy's grip, practices she carried back to the city and into her life. First, practice mindfulness. Jealous thoughts are like storm clouds. Observe them without judgment, and they pass. Elena began each day in silence, sitting on her balcony as the city woke, noting her emotions as they arose. When jealousy flickered memories of Mark's smile with Sarah, she named it, watched it, let it drift like leaves on a stream. Slowly its power faded, leaving her mind clearer, her heart lighter. Second, cultivate metta, or loving kindness. Wish well-being for yourself, your loved ones, even those who hurt you. In the quiet of her apartment, Elena whispered metta prayers. May I be at peace. May Mark find happiness. May Sarah know ease. May Lily find her way. At first, the words felt forced, but over time, they softened resentment, replacing it with a warmth that jealousy could not touch. She began to see Sarah not as a rival, but as a woman seeking her own fleeting happiness. Even Lily's betrayal seemed less personal, more a reflection of her own pain. Third, embrace impermanence. Reflect daily on life's fleeting nature to loosen attachment's hold. Elena started a journal, writing each night, "This pain will pass. This love will change. This life is not mine to own." The practice grounded her, reminding her that nothing, neither joy nor sorrow, lasts forever. In accepting this, she found freedom, a quiet strength that no betrayal could shake. Back in the city, Elena faced Mark one last time. They met at a quiet cafe, the air heavy with unspoken truths. He admitted his emotional affair with Sarah had been a way to feel alive again, a mistake born of fear. She confessed her night with Tom was a desperate bid for control, not love. They spoke not as enemies, but as two souls stripped bare, seeing each other clearly for the first time in years. They chose to part, not with hatred, but with a quiet acceptance that their love, though real, was not eternal. Elena moved forward, focusing on her own growth. She threw herself into her work not for validation, but for joy. She distanced herself from Lily, whose betrayal had revealed her true heart, and let Sarah fade into memory. In letting go, Elena found peace, a peace not dependent on others, but rooted in her own being. Elena's story is a mirror for us all. Jealousy, with its fire and its pain, is not love's proof, but its shadow, born of attachment to what we cannot keep. Through mindfulness, we learn to observe our pain without being consumed. Through loving kindness, we soften the heart's sharp edges. Through embracing impermanence, we release the need to control, finding freedom in life's flow. Try these practices today. Sit with your thoughts, wish others well, and reflect. Nothing lasts forever. True love is not possession, it is liberation, a gift we give ourselves and others when we let go. If this story touched something within you, share it with someone who may need it too. Subscribe for more narratives where ancient wisdom meets the struggles of modern life. And remember, sometimes the greatest clarity comes after we lose everything we thought mattered.